Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Tuesday Night Flight. Tuesday Night Flight is brought to you by the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. Your two hosts are one, I, the Midnight Rider, two, he, the big guy, KG. Got a lot of stuff to cover. We got, of course, some unfortunate rest in peace news that came down today. We got a big shift in the power and the nature of college football. Why are we pink, dog? Why are we pink?
Just for the A block. Just for the A block.
All right, I got you. NFL preseason. We had some homework this week that I kind of forgot, but I did enough watching the games that I can make it through it. The W. Of course, we got a nice little conversation centered around. I don't think we're gonna have too much of a conversation around stuff that's not on the court. We do have one thing to hit the Enos Cancer thing, but I don't think we're gonna be there long. And lastly, of the things that we have to cover. I don't know if you saw the comments, but Anthony has put in his leave slip for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He's got a birthday. He said he turns 36, I think.
36.
So happy birthday, Anthony. I think I heard, I can't remember if it was earlier today or if it was on Drive Time. They called him the number one Sideline Junkies fan. And I think he definitely has earned that because he's here supporting everything in the comments, constantly helping us out, giving up his love for his Marlins, his Dolphins, everything else Miami. Is he a fan of the U? I can't remember if he's a Hurricane fan.
He's a part-time Hurricane fan, full-time Notre Dame Irish fan.
Okay. All right, cool. So now we have all the particulars out the way. We're going to start this show like we always do. We're going to recognize some things. Oh, I'm sorry. KG. Well, I think I know how you are. So if you don't mind, I only want to ask you. And I'm doing all right. So let's start this way. I want to give you the floor for this because I don't think I can do this justice. I already see your shirt. I see the pink in the lines. But today we lost one Dolly Parton. Passed away at the age of 80. I know the big guy's a big fan. I've read some stuff and seen some stuff on her that I just didn't know. That's truly amazing. She's got a crazy story. But I'm gonna let KG take the lead on this. You got as much time as you want.
I appreciate that, Midnight Rider. For those of you that are just joining us unaware, yeah, I'm a big Dolly Parton fan. I've wore each one of my Dolly shirts on screen over the last few years. So yeah, little tore down, little messed up. But I made a promise to bring you all great content with the Midnight Rider. So this is what we're gonna do. Dolly Parton, 80 years old, philanthropist, musical legend, actress. She's won an Academy Award, 13 Academy of Country Music Awards, 48 BMI Awards, 4 Billboard Awards, 13 Country Music TV Awards, Music Awards, 2 Video Awards from Country Music TV, 2 Cashbox Awards, Country Music Association Award. She's won 10 of those, 11 Grammys. Man, and I'm just picking off different things. You saw her in the movie 9 to 5. You saw her in Steel Magnolias.
That's the name of it.
You that was one of the ones you couldn't remember.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is I was introduced to her as a child because of the movie 9 to 5. And then there was a TV show that ran after that called 9 to 5, which her younger sister played the role that she played in the movie. But I used to watch 9 to 5 when I was a kid, and I was in love with it. And it's one of those movies that you watched whenever it came on TV. She also was in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, Rhinestone, Straight Talk. She had a cameo in The Beverly Hillbillies and Miss Congeniality. She did some voice work with Romeo and Juliet and The Year Dolly Parton Was My Mom. She was in Joyful Noise and Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square. Were a couple of notable roles. And if you do remember 2 years ago, going on 3 this Thanksgiving, she performed at the halftime show of the Cowboys Commanders game in AT&T Stadium. I, for one, did not leave my seat. I got me a good seat, got me a good plate, and I watched that performance, and I was in awe, and I loved it. Now, I know in the last couple of years, she's had some health issues where she had to end her Vegas residency. She lost her husband, Carl Dean, in 2025. And thinking about it now, when you're married to somebody for 58 years, and so you've been married to somebody from 20 to 78, 79, that's a lifetime, and you lose them. Don't ever tell me that people don't die of broken hearts. And I think that's what this was a case of. The solace that I do have is that her and Carl are back together. So that's the solace I do have. But rest in peace, Dolly. I mean, geez. I broke down and I cried like a baby. Not even gonna lie to you. I boo-hooed like a baby. You would have thought I lost one of my folks, but I actually did lose one of my folks. So, Midnight Rider.
I always tell you, when it comes to certain people, I'm not gonna be the person that breaks the news to you. And this is one of those situations. Hey, I got a lag going. Let me hop up and hop right back in. Give me one second.
All right. So I'll jump over to the comments real quick. It's crazy, but Showtime joining us. She said, did someone say homework? Yes. We had homework with the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation, which we'll get to in a little bit. Matty Ice, he called it. Midnight Rider called it. I knew what it was, but I ain't got to agree with it. She says, I play on a playlist for 3 hours at work, and only one person noticed it. It was worth it, though. The discography alone is amazing. Matter of fact, I asked a question a couple of weeks ago. I asked it at work in a group chat, and then I asked, I asked it on the show. And I asked the question. I said, if you see what Dolly Parton looked like in the 70s, right? I forget what year she did. I want to say it was 72. She wrote Jolene. You see what she looked like in 72. What the hell did Jolene look like? And I always said that. I said, that is crazy. Like, you worried about Jolene. And this is like, oh. But I am not well. I'm just going to be honest with you. I am not well. Showtime said she went to Dollywood in May, feels too soon. And I said I wanted to go to Dollywood. I really did. Not even a lie. I wanted to go to Dollywood. I'm gonna tell you something. This is how deep my fandom for Dolly goes. I'm sorry. She has a line of cakes and sweets. She has a line of frozen dinners. Yeah, I've partaken in a Dolly Parton frozen dinner. I've partaken in a Dolly Parton cupcake. I've done it all. I go to the store and I pick up stuff with her name on it just because it's got her name on it. But I ain't gonna lie to you. This one cut deep. It cut me real deep. So, Midnight Rider, you back?
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. We were talking about Dolly. The one thing that stood out to me was her story about living with her, I think it was 12 brothers and sisters. in like a 1-bedroom apartment or something like that. I might have some of the details wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But she did a thing where I guess she had like a book club and kids could get books. As long as you just had to sign up for it. And I forgot the number they got to, but to have that as part of your legacy, always, well, I don't always, but I've said this a couple times lately. When you think about people when they pass on, if they leave marks behind, that's one of the best things you can do. That's one of the best things you can get is actually having the ability to remember them the way they were and for all the things they did and the lives they touched. And I think she's definitely someone who touched a lot of lives, left a mark on a lot of people's hearts, and inspired people. So I'm gonna leave it at that because that's mostly what I wanted to share. I knew you was gonna cover everything else. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and then come back. You can pick the breaks. I'll leave it to you. And then let's come back, and let's touch on some stuff. We might have some things in place in the NCAA, but we'll tell you what that is on the other side of this break.
All right. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tonight, the bell rings and the stories begin. Welcome to the ride.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. This is the Tuesday Night Flight. I am the Midnight Rider. He is the big guy KG. And we are here to keep you entertained talking sports. And we just talked about some big stuff happening in NCAA. I don't know how many people have heard the story this week about the young man that played for the Cleveland Browns being cut by the Browns and trying to go back and sign and play for the LSU Tigers. Well, both conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, have, and probably within the last couple hours, they've issued new statements and new information. Basically, they've put their commissioners in place to make sure that they can ensure that kids cannot come in after you played in the NBA, WNBA, NFL. And there will be fines. And the SEC took theirs a step further. The SEC gave their commissioner basically power to administer punishments, suspensions, and things of that nature. And there's a reason why that's important. If you listen to the rumblings, there's been reports that the SEC and the Big Ten are two conferences that feel like they want to leave because of these problems that the NCAA is having, because these courts are giving injunctions and the NCAA goes to fight these cases and they lose. So both conferences feel like they can do a better job governing themselves as opposed to being under the arm of the NCAA. Now, this isn't official. This isn't anything that has happened. But let's just say this. You can sometimes see the writing on the wall. You can see the smoke. You may not see the fire, but you can see the smoke. And this moment here today is the Big Ten and the SEC letting us see the smoke. They haven't yet to reveal the fire. And they took huge steps. This all came down within the last couple of hours that both conferences has created legislation to basically have rules that ban players from returning after signing with NFL, WNBA, and NBA teams. If they aren't allowed back in the school, if they've gone past whatever the deadline is to pull your name out of the draft or out of the combine. So if you declare and that deadline comes up and you miss that deadline, you're now a professional athlete in those two conferences. You're no longer allowed back. So I think that's something that needed to be done. But the sad thing is, I think we're on the heels of, you want to call it a mutiny, you want to call it a revolution, you want to call it a coup d'etat, whatever send them for that you got, you can use it. But that's what's coming down the pipeline now. KG?
I think this is probably the greatest move that you can make to stop these shenanigans. I think the word you like to use is, you call it a Travis mockery.
Yes.
And I think that's what this is, because this is making a mockery of the integrity and the institution of college football. You know, I think we talked about it on Thursday. You know, once you leave, if you didn't get drafted, yeah, you could go back to school if you didn't sign with an agent. Okay, you can go back to school. But getting drafted or going to somebody's camp, participating in NFL drills, in training camp, OTAs, mini camps, rookie mini camps, and then you're saying, okay, well, I'm not sure yet. I play a NFL preseason game, do well in that, and just say, you know what? I think I'm gonna go back to college. No, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. I hope that this takes and make let's not make stupid great, because this whole thing has been dumb the whole damn time, and it seemed like they starting to step up to not make stupid great.
Absolutely correct. That's exactly what's going on right now. It just doesn't make sense the way we're doing this. We got a lot of smart people, but we do a lot of dumb stuff. So I don't have anything else for right now on this. Maybe we can revisit Thursday if we get any more new developments and we get better language explaining like the course of the actions taken. Sound good to you?
That sounds great to me. Because
okay.
I would love to, I got a few things I would love to hear your statements on. And it's college wise. There's a lot of stuff that's coming down the pipeline. So if we can get more on Thursday, that's great.
All right. What do you want to go next? Do you want to hit our homework or you want to?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's we got NFL preseason because we got to turn the homework, and you're supposed to turn your homework in the beginning of class. And
I didn't know this was a written assignment.
For those that didn't join us, I think that was Thursday. Now, Midnight Rider gave out the assignment. He said we were to look at the Browns quarterbacks. So this is our Browns homework is what we're doing. I think the dog ate his. I don't have mine written, but I got it up here. So he was looking at Deshaun Watson. I'm looking at Shedeur Sanders. We were having a conversation about who should be the starter. Now, the number one quarterback has been named. Monken has named Deshaun Watson is your number one starter. Okay. I understand that. Midnight Rider, Matty Ice was like, it's foregone conclusion. You got to go where the money is. You don't want that type of money sitting on the bench at second string. You got to start the money. I totally agree. I'm not dissing that. No, nothing. What I was saying was, I think Shedeur is still the better candidate, in my opinion. And looking at Saturday's game against the Bills, the Browns lost 31-7. I believe Shedeur started the game. He went 9 of 11, 74 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and a sack. With 87.1 as a QB rating, Deshaun Watson came in 5 of 12, 36 yards, and an interception, 14.6 as a QB rating. Now, I don't know how much live film you watched. I watched a little bit of this game, and I watched a couple throws that Shedeur made. What were your thoughts?
I think it's a matter of time. I think Cleveland's in this world right now, swimming upstream against a heavy current. So they're struggling. I watched Watson play, and I didn't take anything redeeming away from that 5 of 12 for 35 yards. I can truly understand, because I sent you a clip earlier this week. I sent you a clip yesterday with the guy Ken Carman going off on Deshaun Watson. I should have loaded it up in here, but for some reason my uploads aren't working. So I tried to have the SEC thing uploaded, but neither here nor there. But I'll say this: I just think there's a problem systematically. Whether it's, I think Shedeur is the better. I think you're right. I think Shedeur is the better of the two. But I think they still got to go with the money at. And then the earliest off ramp, and this is crazy. Whoever did this contract, they need a Pulitzer Prize. They need they need their hand shook, because in this deal, if he's under contract after March 13th is a date, I believe. There's a poison bill that kicks in another $200 million. So of course they're gonna, what they'll end up having to do is, on the day that the new league calendar year starts, they'll designate him as a post June 1 cut. And by cutting them post June 1, they can spread his money over 2 years. And that 2 years is about 80, I want to say it's 87 or $89 million that they have to spread over the 2 years as cap hits. So they'll be out of the Deshaun Watson business. The kicker for me, or the thing I worry about, is, will Shedeur show enough, and will there be enough belief in the building that you move forward with Shedeur and don't bring anybody else in? Because right now they got like 4 quarterbacks. They got the kid Taylon, I think his name is Taylon Green from Arkansas, who's like 6'6", 235 pounds. They got Dylan Gabriel, who was the starter last year at some point. I haven't even heard his name or heard of him outside of when I listened to 92.3. So yeah, but no, Watson looked terrible. I've seen some clips from him in practice. He's looked terrible there. But again, this is a situation where they're being held hostage by that contract. The owner going to have to see something. He just ain't going to be forking out 48, 55, whatever his number is, for nothing.
I looked at the history. The Browns thought they were getting the Texans Deshaun Watson, but they did not get the Texans Deshaun Watson. He signed a contract with a fully guaranteed $230 million deal. And that's a 5-year deal. He signed that in 22. I know he ruptured his Achilles, but this is not the Deshaun Watson that they thought he ruptured his Achilles twice. Sheesh. This is not the Deshaun Watson you thought you were getting. I'm gonna put it to you like this. You got to go where the money is, and it's odd because you know Deshaun Watson is gonna be the starter because of the money. But if you notice, whenever Shedeur Sanders is sitting on the bench, Deshaun Watson comes and he plops right down beside him, and they start looking at the tablet together and they start talking. I don't know if it happens, but I don't see that with him and Dillon Gabriel. Ever since Shedeur Sanders has been in Cleveland, Deshaun Watson's like, hey, look at this, do this. And it's like they've been joined at the hip, if you will. And it's like they root for each other, and it's cool. I like it. But I think I hate to say this because I'm a Deshaun Watson guy. I think Watson's time has come. And it's time for him to give up the reins. He got to know, hey, look, I can't do what I used to do. So either you got to build to his strengths, or you got to let him go out the pasture and let one of the young colts, if you will, take over. I'm just saying.
So you want him to be Elmer's?
Leave the building.
You want? All right, take him out the pasture and shoot him dead. They blew out of him.
You know what I want him to do? I want him to take Shedeur's hand, walk him to the front of the stage, and when the spotlight hits Shedeur, he go and back on up. I want him to pull an Ike Turner, back on up to the shadows where you belong. Go on back there.
Okay.
This ain't working.
Well, you got 2 weeks of it at minimum. I think it's gonna be 3, and depending on what Watson shows up, because maybe he finds something. Maybe he found the fountain of youth. I doubt it very seriously, but if anything's possible. I think he'll go. What is it? Say 12 of 31, 115, 120 yards. Follow that up with another terrible performance, and then maybe your guy gets in week 3 because that's the dating. I mean, not the dating, the betting prop or the thought is you play him the 2 road games, and then when you come back to Cleveland to save him the booze, you start Shedeur and let Shedeur take it from there.
But didn't they say that with Joe Flacco last year? Let Flacco take the road game, the hardest part of the schedule, and then bring Shedeur in.
Yeah.
They let Flacco take the hardest part of the schedule. Then they traded Flacco and put Dillon Gabriel in. I'm like, what are you doing? Dillon Gabriel came in and he stunk up the joint. First 2 games, Jaguars, Bucks. Then they come home to play the Panthers. Then they face the Steelers at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rough 4-game stretch, no matter how you slice it. Anthony said, I heard that Cleveland might cut Green. And he said, KG at midnight, I believe Cleveland screwed every NFL team by fully guaranteeing the whole $250 million contract. I don't think they screwed everybody. I think what they did, and by this not working out, nobody's going to get a fully guaranteed contract because it did not work out for Deshaun Watson. It did not work out for Cleveland, but Cleveland's. But I don't think they screwed everybody. I think they opened everybody's eyes. Nobody's going to ever get that much money guaranteed unless they're a generational talent.
I think one of Kirk's deals is fully guaranteed. One of his deals was. I don't remember which one it was. So, but that's Kirk. Kirk, the contract goat.
Contract goat is an understatement. Like whoever his agent is, look.
Hey,
I know I can't speak for you, and I can only speak for me. But I'm speaking for you on this one. We're gonna hire him as an agent because that man gets that dude money left, right, up, and down. He like Kirk's children's children ain't probably got to work with all the money that he got him.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What's
And he
this?
said, I'm kind of surprised that Patrick Mahomes, being that he's a better talented quarterback than Watson, didn't get a fully guaranteed contract. But his contract is what? Almost $400 million?
He's got like a 10-year deal, and every so often they go in and basically take the money, move it around, even as a guarantee or whatever. So that way it lowers his cap hit. They do the salary cap Watusi, the 1-2 step, and yeah, they make it work. Yeah, his contract is something ridiculous like that. I think the difference with Watson had a bidding war going on, and Cleveland was out, and I think that Cleveland made a last-ditch effort because they were Cleveland, and they had just ran Baker off. Because Baker had the one good year where he took him to the playoffs. The next season is when he had the bad shoulder, couldn't play or didn't play well, and then after that, I think either in the midst of that season or the following season is when he ends up doing the tour where he goes like he gets cut. 48 hours later, he's starting for the Rams, and then he plays with somebody else, and then he ends up in Tampa, and he's been in Tampa ever since.
I wrapping up this homework, I'm gonna say this. We knew what was gonna happen, and you guys called that. I agreed with you. This is not going to end well for Cleveland. Some heads are going to roll. And when I say heads are going to roll, I don't see Monken coaching Cleveland past this season. I don't see that front office being in. This is a new front office. They're going to try to get some new blood in there. And they're going to clean house. And I really don't see Shedeur Sanders being there past his rookie contract. I see him going somewhere else. Hell, it could be the Jets. It could be the Colts, but it's gonna be somewhere that needs quarterbacks.
Nah, I think everybody else will do this in the draft. I think his best bet after this rookie deal is done is get used to holding the clipboard and being somebody's backup, and just go ahead and do your 10 years.
You know what they say about backup quarterbacks, right?
Help me out.
They make the best coaches because they've been in that position where they're watching from the sideline, so they can watch the game. They can break the game down better than anybody else as a backup quarterback.
I don't see that for him, but I get you.
Anthony said, yeah, because according to Jose Cena Anderson, he's close to signing a massive deal with Miami before Cleveland came in in the 48 hours.
Okay.
And he said Shedeur to Miami. That wouldn't be bad.
I think that's Malik Willis' job, and if he can't hold the job down, then your 2026 first round pick for the Miami Dolphins is insert your favorite quarterback name here.
And he also said most of the mock drafts have the Dolphins choosing Jeremiah Smith at number 1, not a quarterback. That's now.
Let's wait and see how this Malik Willis experiment go.
Sticking with football, I like to call this segment "Not So Sunny Days." I don't know if you've been watching the All 22s, and they've been focusing on.
I'm on the shelf.
We're not doing this.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. They've been focusing on Sonny Styles being out of position, outmanned, and everything during the preseason, even in some camp stuff. I wanted to bring this to you because I know you're level-headed. You have the experience. You're going to tell it like it is. How should we feel about this? Should we be worried? And is Elvis okay?
I'm going to try to answer this way. If you're worried about this, I got some beachfront property in a swamp that you should be interested in. Great price. If you're buying, you got to think about what this kid has done. He's not yet blitzed. he's mostly been playing in the middle, either dropping and you don't even have your first string big guys in the ball game. Like you got your third string, your second and third string D line, and those guys don't. I don't want to explain this. You remember the best years of, I'll say it this way. Think about this. The best years that Ray Lewis ever had was when he had them two big horses in front of him, Sam Adams and Siragusa. And I think for Sonny, I think he's going to have some help when they start putting the regular guys in to play in front of him. Right now, I mean, if you saw the play, there's a great play of his where he drops in coverage. He's supposed to be playing like they're playing some version of a Tampa 2. He carries the slot receiver up, and out, the slot receiver goes to break out like he's doing a corner route. He swivels his hips and turns and comes back because there's an over route coming in behind that. And that receiver made a business decision because he was not going to leave that play with all his faculties. Because the way they turned, Chanel was coming up, or Chanel, he was coming over, and Sonny had just turned and was right there ready to. And you even hear in the broadcast, Brian Mitchell's like, somebody got alligator arms. You saw it. And yeah, so I don't like. I know people say, "Oh, he like the play where they run the zone read." I mean, that was just a play. Like, who's expecting somebody to run zone read in the preseason? And then the young outside linebacker Josephs, he overran the play. Then the safety came in and took a bad angle, and that's why he out here now looking for a job because he ain't been right since he broke his leg. And that's a sad story because the guy was actually doing well, breaks his leg. Now he want to figure it out, man. Poor Will Harris, but I'm not worried about the Sonny stuff. Because think about it like this: if they're trying to give him a full grade and he's still reading the syllabus. Like, they haven't used him in any way outside of him dropping, playing in the middle of the field. That's probably the only time he's been used in a way that they're going to use him in the regular season. He's going to do so much more. I mean, I like it. I like how people pick on things, find stuff early, want to create a story. But this is for clicks and likes.
I'm glad you said that.
Because I saw the dude, it's one guy, I can't think of his name. But I think he's a Giants fan because he had all this Arville Reese stuff. And then he brought up the Sonny Styles tape. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, this is propaganda at its best.
I love hearing that from you because it puts my mind at ease, but I know if everybody else hated to put their mind at ease too. Stop going for the clickbait. And I keep seeing people talk about it, and I just roll my eyes when I see it. I'm like, y'all not even looking at you looking at one or two plays. You're not looking at everything.
Dude, you missed it today if you didn't listen to B Mitch and Finley. Some callers started talking about this, and like Brian just went off. He was like, if you think he a bust, call in and tell us why. So some guy tried to call in, and I was like, well, you setting yourself up, dog. And Brian was ready for him. And he was debunking everything the guy was saying. And I just don't get, if they're playing vanilla, why are we worried about what it looks like? But hey, that's them. So
nobody believes in preseason being vanilla anymore. You supposed to be in the preseason, you supposed to play like you get the next game's the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl. Don't work like that for everybody, baby.
Well, yeah. What else we got? Oh, are we changing subjects next?
No, I was going to. You got anything else?
Of course, we got something else.
Okay, what you got?
We got Pimp Daddy Jed York going to the wax. I mean, was it the Winn Dixie trailer park homes? With his 140 in cash, trying to get him some ass. This is going to be This is going to be interesting how this plays out. I mean, for those that don't know, owner of the San Francisco 49ers, Jed York, was arrested. I guess it was Sunday. Originally arrested for prostitution. They got moved down to some misdemeanor. Where basically, because he used his cell phone was used as something, as an accessory to a crime or some crazy stuff. It's amazing what happens when you're rich, how things can change. But the real moral of the story is he reached out to a site or to a place that is known for prostitution. I guess it was an undercover sting. He calls, gets him a time. He asks how much. They tell him 140. And then he said, if I want to do it unprotected, she said that's another 20. So he pulls up to where they're supposed to meet up with his 160, ready to go, ready to party. Yeah, so what?
You acted up in front of company, bro. You're not supposed to talk about shit like that over the phone. Oh my God. Oh, and it's nothing he can do.
But he's a billionaire or multi-millionaire.
Yeah,
maybe a billionaire.
You could have got some. What Chris Carter said. You got to have your fall guy.
Right.
I'm gonna say something. Most people don't agree with me, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I know it's the truth. The 49ers franchise was a dynasty. The 80s through the mid 90s, that was a dynasty. Once Eddie DeBartolo was relieved of ownership and his sister took over, they stopped being a dynasty. They're not also Rams. They're like in purgatory. Every once in a while they get to see a little sight of heaven, but you're in purgatory for most part. That's what they are. Ever since she took over. Do the math.
Eddie wasn't exactly on the up and up either, buddy. Then you got the Brandon Ayuk summer. So this is the summer of chaos. They had the Brandon Ayuk thing. I think he's gone and crawled in the hole, or just people just stop paying attention to him. You got Kyle Shanahan's mysterious accident that he's recovering from injuries from, where somehow the police report got filed wrong and it made like the girl hit Kyle, but Kyle hit the girl. And the incident happened on June 3rd, but we didn't hear about it until like the 17th. It was like 2 weeks. So there's still some stuff out there in 49 land that just the math ain't mathing, Cletus. The math ain't mathing.
I'm just looking at the timeline. Eddie DeBartolo, he became principal owner in 1977. So you had that, him bringing in Bill Walsh, the drafting of Joe Montana, John Taylor, Roger Craig, Jerry Rice, Ronnie Lott. You got all of those guys. Look at the coaches that coached in San Francisco that became head coaches elsewhere and became winners. So for 23 years, you had a dynasty. To now, it's like chaos in the Golden Gate City. Like, it's the Wild Wild West out there. But I will say this to all 49er fans. As a Commander fan, trust me, I feel your pain. Wholeheartedly, I feel your pain. Next up, switching gears, going over to the W. I love this right here. Angel Reese sets a WNBA record 26 angelic rebounds. Midnight Rider, trivia question. Whose record did she break?
Tina Charles.
Nah.
Simone Augustus.
Nah.
Sylvia Folks.
Nah.
Asia Wilson.
Nope.
All right, then I don't know.
Shamik Holdsclaw had the record for 24 rebounds, and that was set May 23rd, 2003 for the Washington Mystics. She had 20. Angel Reese had 26 in this game. It was a 79-71 win over the Sparks. Not only did she set the single game rebounding record, but she also set the record for most total rebounds in the WNBA season at 458. She surpassed Asia Wilson's record of 451, which she set in 2024. So
that's where I heard Wilson at. I knew I heard Wilson's name in there.
This is, I mean, I don't care how you slice it, how you dice it. This was a feat. And she said, she's like, last time I was here in LA, I was knocking down everything. She said, I couldn't hit anything. People gonna clown and be like, oh, they me bounds. I don't give a damn what they are. It takes a lot of hustle to miss a shot and then follow the shot up with your own rebound and put it back. It takes a lot of hustle.
So she had 10 missed shots, 8 offensive rebounds. Do with that what you may. So that means the rest of the rebounds came on the defense end.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this. I have been calling her the female Tyler Hansborough because it don't look pretty. Like when you look at it, it don't like it's supposed to go in, it's supposed to work, but it somehow go in and work. But the last time I watched her, it looked more natural. So she's definitely looked like she's been putting some work on her game because it looks different. Just in the couple of stretches that I saw her recently.
You know what my suggestion was. My suggestion for the last 2 years has been the same, and it's not going to change. I would love to see her work with Hakeem on her footwork on the post, and I think if she works with Hakeem on the post, go ahead.
I think I'd get her someone to work with her on her ball handling, and her scoring. But the other thing I'd do is I'd put her in like a dance class just to clean up her feet. I'd make her do dance or something like that first. Like you know what I'm saying? Clean like that piece up.
A ballet for balance?
A ballet, maybe even a salsa, something to get her, yeah. Because I think right now it looks very awkward.
Yes.
That's why that's the Tyler Hansborough thing.
It looks like she's thinking too much.
It looks
because
like
it looked like she's so fluid when she's not thinking. Like
that might be it.
Attacking, but it looks like she's thinking too much. That's all.
I mean, I've said at times that she reminds me of Bambi on ice. So
get her to work with Hakeem. Call up Lisa Leslie. I got a couple of people you can call up just to work out with, just to lab with, and she'll be fine. You know what? By her being a rebounding machine,
but her brother's the same way. So that's funny.
It runs the family.
I guess so.
Call Dennis Rodman. Get Dennis Rodman on the line.
But see, I don't think that's the type of person she needs. Only because, like, there's some people that what they do you can't do. I don't think many people can do what Dennis Rodman do or did. Like you can't teach the level of detail he put into his game. Watching people shoot warm-ups and seeing how the ball hits off of certain parts of the rim and where it's going to go and things of that nature. Like that's one of those traits that it's not repeatable.
But wouldn't it be easier now with the technology that we have? Because you can watch that on film as well as in person, and you can have somebody break it down and sit there and be like, okay, this is how many revolutions. Did I count that right? All right, this is how many revolutions it is when Asia Wilson shoots. When Kelsey Plum shoots, I can tell how many revolutions. Everybody shot tape. I mean, you can actually do that with the technology we got.
Yeah, but then you just said something about her thinking, right?
Yeah. That's a contradictory statement, so I get what you're saying.
No, I mean, because I think a lot of her stuff is positioning, and a lot of her stuff is just will. And I think she just reacts to the ball hitting the run. And it's different because I watch ladies. I was watching the Valkyrie and Lynx. That didn't go good for baby girl. Livy had one of her worst games again, or her second worst game. But it was something different about the Valkyrie. I think the Valkyrie wanted revenge, but of course, Courtney wasn't playing. So I'm telling you, dog, this is the most W I've watched in ever. And that's no disrespect to the days of Shamika and all those, and Simone and Sylvia. I feel like the talent is so balanced, and spread so equally through the league. Like if you look at their playoff standings, I think from 2 to I think it's 2 to 6. It's like only 2 games separating them. So that's crazy in its own right, man.
I agree with that.
Hit Anthony up.
That's a good question. He said, question, guys, this has to do with basketball in general. Why don't you see a ton of these old school specials anymore, like a pure rebounding center or pure defensive point guard or pure defensive stopper as small forward or power forward?
I think you get you don't get a pure rebounder as center anymore because that's not the focus. Like we've gone so positionless with the basketball game that you're not gonna get a guy. I mean, there are some guys that are like your defensive centers, like your Rudy Gobert's, your Mitchell Robinsons. Like those guys exist, but I think in an earlier time there was more prominence of us talking about them, and I don't think we talk about the defensive stoppers in the ways that we do now. Like they talk about, like you don't hear much about like a guy like a Bilal Coulibaly. Trying to think of some other defensive guys. Dylan Brooks. I mean, I think the reason you hear about Dylan Brooks is because of his nice little feud with LeBron James. So it's just like I think some of it has to do with people being able to be characters, and sell themselves and convince you that to hate them. Everybody dislikes a villain, and sometimes you gotta give them the villain.
I love how you did that, because what you just did, let me tell you what you just did. That's the equivalent of being on the right side of the floor. I'm on the left side. The ball comes off on a long rebound. You grabbed it. You took 2 dribbles. I already sprinted ahead, and then you just like take it. That's an open dunk. That's what you just did, because we talking about villains. Now, if you don't know, you about to find out. Enes Kanter decided to go to a Chicago Sky game, and I don't know what he said on his end, but if you don't know, has a plight to join the WNBA because he's identifying as a woman now. And he went to the game. He said something. Natasha Cloud, he said or did something. Natasha Cloud came down the court. She had some words with him. She didn't leave the court. She was held back by security and the refs. Security escorted him out. He has been banned from Wintrust Arena after his verbal altercation with Natasha Cloud. I asked the question, has the plot been buried?
So here's I know we gotta talk about this. So I'm gonna do my best to be not to say the wrong thing. So first, I think Enes Kanter and the guy Royce White, are pieces of shit. Because, and I don't like the fact that there's even people that want to like defend them in their actions, because now you're making two guys that seem like they're, because this is what it sounds like to me, two guys trying to make a joke, trying to find a loophole, trying to do something, become relevant because nobody's talked about them since they left the league or whatever. So they put themselves in the middle of this thing, you know, and say, "Oh, I identify as a woman." Well, that's also disrespecting the nature of a person being transgender or doing what it takes to become a transgender. And the fact that you're just going to be like, "Oh yeah, I identify," like because you said it, makes it real. It's a little disturbing and disrespectful to the cause itself, because there are people that generally are battling this thing, and they get legit pushback for trying to be themselves. And for you just to casually do this, like, "Oh yeah, I'm a girl today," like, come on, dog, what are we doing here? Like that's disrespecting somebody's plight, you know. And I think that bothers me more is the disrespect of people, and the fact that we have to talk about this. Now I know Sophie Cunningham came out and said something. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I just think we're doing a little disservice to the people that actually are going through the process to be whatever their heart feels they should be.
I'm a follow you through the door, and I felt that Enes Kanter was a piece of shit for a long time, and it had nothing to do with this situation. It was because of all the smoke that he had for LeBron, but then when he saw him in person, he was quiet. Now you got smoke for a woman, but you ain't had that smoke for a grown ass man. I don't like what you trying to pull. Are you trying to say, you know, the WNBA is hypocritical because they, you know, I think in their bylaws, even if you're transgender, you can play in the NBA. Are you trying to say that they're hypocritical? But I don't know what you're trying to do anymore. That's why I'm saying is the plot being buried? Because
I think
dude, your antics are taken away from everything. If you're trying to do anything,
I think he's just trying to be relevant for his next little 15 minutes.
I put it down like this, and I was thinking about it earlier, and I put up a scenario. I said, well, if you're trying to bring awareness to a cause, if I was to say, you know what, I'm gonna do Black Lives Matter, not the organization, the movement, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna smooch police officers, and I'm gonna start a ruckus, and I'm gonna start fights with police officers. Why am I'm bringing negative things to the movement? That's what he's doing right now. He's bringing negativity to a movement. Like this is weird behavior, man. Like, geez. I hope nobody else puts another mic in this dude's face. This is done because you're done.
I mean, more than likely he has a podcast. So,
shit. Okay.
Let's move on.
Go ahead and we're gonna get back and transition to get back on defense. Talk some MLB.
Whoa,
that was unintentional.
We're gonna make a transition. Whoa, bro.
That was unintentional. We're gonna switch gears. Man, we just gonna move on. little talking, little MLB talk with MR. Now I got my questions preloaded. So, and I gave him the questions early, so it's no surprise. First question off the block. Talking MLB. Manager in DC. Blake Butera. Does he manage in DC after 26?
I mean, if they play their cards right, he's the manager in 31. There's no level of him. Like, he hasn't done a bad job at all. Like, if there's anybody questioning him being the manager going forward, we need your head checked, because this is a team that was supposed to win. People were saying 60, 65 ball games. Now they're going to struggle to get to a certain number, but I mean, they've outkicked their coverage. They've shown growth. You've got guys that have hit on all levels of this organization. There are guys that are experiencing their best power number, their best power season. This team took a guy named Mears and made him a home run hitter. Now, unfortunately, he broke his hamate bone. So he's not doing anything in Boston right now. Luis Garcia, who, if you ever watched the episode of us during baseball season, you know I didn't want Luis Garcia here past the end of the show. So, I mean, like, and they actually got something from him. So that's crazy. And right now, the next biggest problem is when they play the Marlins, they can't get right. They can't beat the Marlins to save their lives. I think they're 1-9 against the Marlins, or 1-8. I think they're 12-27 in the division. Now, if we take the 3 from the Marlins, maybe they're 12-30 in the division. And right now they're losing 3-1 to the Rockies. So we see how that plays out.
Now, here's the reason why I asked that question. Because, you know, once you make some moves, you do some tinkering, and the team's bad this year, but it could be way better next year, you always go out and get that next young best thing. And that's why I asked that question.
Nah, this is the guy. Like, I think this Butera and Taboni / I can't think of the other guy's name. I think that's a marriage, and I think they're connected all at the hip. So this isn't a thing where, and like, unless Butera just absolutely loses the ball club, I don't think he's going nowhere. And I think they've got enough going themselves that they got enough to make this work. They got enough to make this work long term. I just think they just got to figure out pitching and then spend a little bit of money to bring in a couple pieces and help them out. But the problem is, I don't see them making that move. I see them still taking the duct tape out, getting a little bit of that Gorilla Glue, and trying to piece together a team. Now, they picked up some guys, and maybe those guys can have career years, or maybe those guys can figure it out. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. This is a project. This is a labor of love.
Speaking of project, is Cade Cavalli your new ace? I say that because he almost pitched a no-hitter, 12-5 overall this season, 3.21 ERA, 169 strikeouts, 1.21 WHIP. I mean, is he your new ace?
I mean, I think he realized his destiny. I think he was the guy that if they had an ace, he would have been it, and that's what they wanted. I think they made. If I'm them, I go to a 6-man rotation for September, so I can get another young arm up, see what they can do, and then also in the same breath, you take the pressure off of him playing every 5 days. So maybe he doesn't get. So say they've got, what are we at? August 25th. So we got another month of games. So maybe in the 5-man rotation, he gets another 6 starts. But in a 6-man rotation, maybe he gets 4 at most, maybe 5. And we're just trying to save some innings on his arm. But he's been hot lately. He's been one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball since after the All-Star break. So what you want to do, and I think you may even see them shut him down the last couple of weeks of the season, is you want him going into next year healthy, ready to go. And maybe you try some of your other young arms out to see what happens. But do know you will get what's his name. You're either gonna get Yohani Morales or Seaver King up in September when they can do the September call-ups. I don't think you can get both, but you'll get one of the two.
Now, looking at the box score from last night, they beat the Nationals beat the Rockies 13-3. Cavalli started the game. 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 6 innings pitched. That's not a bad stat line.
No, he's been about 6 innings, somewhere between 8 and 12 strikeouts. His last 3 or 4 starts.
Now, let me ask you this, because I still think with the 90s mind, is being a 20-game winner as a starter, is that still a good thing?
It's a good thing if you get there. I just think the way they manage baseball now, like, I don't even know if we have anybody on pace for 20-game wins. I'll double check that. But because of the specialization and some other things that you don't always get, you're not going to get guys to 20 wins. Like it happened way more in the 90s. Now you get less of that because it's so specialized. You go 6.5, 7 innings, and then the next thing you know, you're out of the game, and then maybe the 8th or the 9th. Sometimes the closer's giving it up. Sometimes the setup man gives it up, and you're out of a win, or it gets tied up, and the team still wins the ball game, but you don't get the W. So, if there's anybody, it had to be Miz for Milwaukee on pace for 20 wins. I'm trying to get the stats to pull up. So right now, the best pitcher in all of MLB has 16 wins. So we might get a 20-game winner this year. So it's 2 at 16. Sanchez, who started the All-Star game, and Sonny Gray at 16. Foster Griffin, who's in Cleveland now, who was with the Nats, is at 15. Rasmussen, who's coming off, I think he came off of arm surgery, he's got 14, and Burns has got 14 for Cincinnati. So I don't think we're gonna get a 20. I think we'll get 19. That's also saying that person's winning everything they got left. I don't know where Anthony left off at. I see nothing but Anthony.
I got him. Because I want him to answer this before I get to him. For shits and giggles, has Giancarlo Stanton ever stayed healthy? He just came back from a strained left calf. I'm sorry, strained right calf, just to strain his left calf, and now he's out again. Like, I know this dude has a bat. He has power. He got pop. He got everything you want. But I'm not getting the games.
Or just be glad he chose baseball. Because he was supposed to play safety at USC at one point.
But it seems like
I think he's at that point in his career where his body just isn't cooperating. We've seen this. At least they get in the stretch. I mean, think about Mike Trout. Mike Trout's, I think he's been hurt each of the last couple of years now. It's just a thing. Some guys just have bad luck. Rendon. Shoot. The only reason he was a National is because he kept getting hurt at Rice. So instead of being 1, he fell to 6 or 7, wherever the Nats took him.
Stanton this year,
like the Giancarlo thing. I think some of it, again, I talk about this with Tiger. Like sometimes guys gotta take some of that weight off their body. I know he's built like a freight train, but maybe you gotta take some of that off. maybe you gotta do like I joke with somebody about, sometimes you gotta start doing different things with your body when you get older. Instead of that extra lifting session, maybe you gotta do that extra yoga session or
spin class.
something like
That's how Chris Webber, he said he attributes Karl Malone to him having a longer career, because he was like, when you can't play above the rim like you used to when you were younger, you got to figure out what to do. And he was like, spin classes. He was like, Karl Malone was like, get on the bike. He's like, you can't lift weights like you used to. You lift weights to maintain, but you're not trying to get strong. You need to get flexible.
Yeah.
Stanton's 36 years old. He hitting 256 this year, 3 home runs, 14 ribbies, and 23 hits. So we haven't gotten pretty much any production from him this season.
But you are getting a great season out of Paul Goldschmidt. Well, not a great season, but you're getting production out of him. I think Goldschmidt cancels out whatever. He doesn't cancel out Giancarlo, but I think he eases the pain and burden of Giancarlo not being there, not being available. And then you also got the Ben Rice kid that's playing some good ball. So, like, it kind of worked itself out.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, because you know
Right.
me, I'm standing on the ledge like this with the wind blowing, looking down at the New York streets on the 48th floor, like I'm ready to jump.
He's just one of those guys that's never going to be healthy.
But he was healthy when he was in Miami.
Not the whole time. He had a couple of those. He had a broken hand, I think, one year, and I think he had a broken jaw. I could be wrong, and I know Anthony will correct me. But yeah, let's come on. Let's take care of the birthday boy. So he answered your question. So let's start with his answer to your question.
Okay.
Oh,
he got a whole bunch. He got a whole bunch. Let's run through all of them. He said his favorite player, just regardless of position, was Tamika Catchings, and he said this for the W specifically. Guys, I feel like as an NBA fan and general fans, underrate the great scoring ability that Dennis had, because we focus on his elite defensive rebounding when he got to Chicago. Dennis Rodman always said he didn't have to score. He was a scorer in college. He averaged a double-double in college. He's averaged, I think, like 24 points and 17 or 18 rebounds.
There are times when the coach comes to you and say, look, if you want to get in the court, you got to do this. Because you ain't taking no points off the table from Isaiah, Joe, Aguirre, and company. So if you get it, you got to get it off the backboard. That's the famous saying. I think it was Gilbert to who was Gilbert talking to? I think it was Brendan Haywood or somebody. He was like, if you want this or you got to get off the backboard, dog.
He said, that's how I feel about my Marlins. I expect them to be decent to good this year, but I didn't expect them to play as well as they did before the deadline. And then after the deadline, they had a 10-game winning streak, a 12-game losing streak, and a 9-game winning streak. God damn.
Yeah, they've been all over the place. But all they do is look forward to to the Nationals on their schedule.
And just go.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm expecting them to be maybe 3 to 7 games below 500 by middle of September. I don't think it has to do with specialization. It's the general starters don't get to 8 or 9 innings anymore. We were talking about saying a 20-game winner. And he said, I don't think it's disappearing KG or Midnight. I think it's going to become more special when we do see a 20-game winner. I thought it was always special.
Yeah, it was. I think we just had more guys getting close to that. Just like the 300 hitter. Like, you probably got like 7 guys hitting over 300 right now. Whereas before, you had probably 7 or 8 in each side of the ledger.
Yeah. And he said, hell to the fucking no. He had the same issues with the Marlins. I warned Yankee fans not to get their hopes up about the guy staying healthy, but Yankees fans, optimism, and we're spoiled by success. That's what it is. Spoiled by success.
Sure.
We come to that point in the show where it's time to wrap that shit up, B.
Oh shit!
What you got, Midnight Rider?
I mean, we talked about so much shit. I mean, excuse my language, so much stuff. I don't even know what my wrap it up is. I'll let you go first because let me figure out if I even have anything.
Well, we started off the top of the show talking about Dolly Parton, and I said earlier, not today. Today of all days. As well as being a big Dolly Parton fan, I'm a huge Aaliyah fan. The same way. 25 years ago today, we lost her. So you like, God, dog. So, feeling that. But yeah, just wanted to say that. And I mean, sports wise, I really don't have anything sports wise right now.
So I got something for you to throw at the feet of the WrestleManiacs. So you're going to have to write this one down.
All right. Let me grab my 3x5 note card. And speaking of which, I'll say it now. Coming up after this broadcast, maybe about, what is it? It's 9:03 now. Maybe about 9:15, 9:20. You got a special something from the WrestleManiacs coming. Just something small, nothing big. Just a special announcement, special show.
Good
what
gosh.
you got?
I'm just cleaning up on lead-ins today. So the group that's led by Royce, I can't think of his real name. Is it Royce Lewis?
Royce Keys.
Royce Keys. So actually, I got two questions. First question is, are they there to set up triple threat war games? Or are they really there to be a faction? That's one.
All right.
I think I've asked you this before, and maybe you've answered it, or maybe they answered it. I can't remember. But why does WWE invest more time in its made-up tag teams than the actual tag teams? So, like, the Street Profits can go 8 months without a title reign, but because we put together LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, they're going to be tag team champions for 6 months. Or because we put together, what are the champs now? What's his name? Ron Cena and yeah.
Oh, truth.
Yeah. I mean, it's just funny to me, man. It's like we have all these established tag teams, and you will put them to the back of the line and then make up your own tag team, and then all of a sudden you put the belts on them. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I think that's partially because Vince isn't a big tag team fan. He doesn't think it sells. But I want to get y'all reaction to it.
I got you. I will put that on the desk so we can answer that on Saturday, 9 p.m. Be here. So, thank you all for joining us.
Hey, well, one programming note.
One program.
Thursday, are we doing our cuts Thursday?
Because I thought we were saving that for Sunday morning.
Okay. I mean, we can do Sunday morning, but I'm just worried that the cuts may be happening as we're trying to make the roster ourselves.
We can put it up on Thursday, and because I said Sunday because Sunday cut down day is 6 p.m. on Sunday.
Right. But I think we're going to start getting stuff leaked early in the morning.
So you want to do Thursday cut down?
Maybe we do Thursday cut down, and I guess we got to invite my boy the Manimal, so he can defend his title. And who else is a Commanders fan? Maybe we see it. I don't know if Lee Ice does. I don't know if Lee Ice does rosters or not. So we can check with him.
Hey. See if I'm 5 years down not having my title.
Yeah.
And that's not discount double check either. Oh man, I'm gonna tell you something. It's always fun doing the cut downs with you because you'll go in a direction. I'd be like, "Fuck, I didn't think about that." Because I'm thinking one way, and then you'll come like, "Yeah, this is why they did this." Man, they're not gonna do that. Then as soon as I say that, it come across the screen. I'm like,
Well, I'll tell you now. There's one person that concerns me in this cut down. It's the kid from UNLV, the wide receiver.
if we thinking about the same guy,
The one that made the one I think he wears 86 and he made the one-handed catch.
I think was that who I was looking at earlier?
He also almost blocked 2 punts in the first preseason game.
Oh my God, was that the dude? Because I was looking at it. Let me see. Jaden Bradley.
Yep.
Was that who I was looking at earlier? No, I was looking at Antonio Williams early. Because they was like Antonio Williams, he's gonna have a job.
Oh yeah, he's straight. But I think I'll go ahead. It's not gonna be Blue Magic, but I think they move either Van Jefferson or Luke McCaffrey to either get a center or to get a pick, so they can make room for that Jaden kid.
Yeah.
So I think they have to keep him because he can't get stashed on a practice squad.
Because somebody can
He's
snatch
too
him right up.
He's too good on specials, and he flashes when he gets a chance.
I seen somebody say, not to give too much of the lead, but I seen somebody say that this Washington team, that the coaching staff and the front office don't know what they're doing. This is a rudderless ship, and we don't have this and we don't have that. And I'm looking at like, are you watching the same team I'm watching? Have you been here the last 35 years?
I think this is going to be the first cut down that they're going to have in a long time where actually some of the guys they cut actually get picked up by other teams. That's sad.
You know who you sound like?
Who?
You sound like Doc Walker. Because he was like, if we cut a guy and he doesn't get picked up by another team, he didn't need to be here.
Exactly.
It's when you cut a guy and somebody immediately swoops him up. It's not because he just didn't fit the scheme here, but he's good enough to go get picked up somewhere else. The last 2-3 years we've been having guys like that get picked up elsewhere. But I remember for a long time, guys would get cut here and they fall off the face of the earth and they didn't back or beyond and they're done. So
I mean, but even the ones that got cut here, I mean, because I heard somebody earlier say something about Emmanuel Forbes, and never mind. Let's end the show because I can't say what I want to say.
Thank you for joining us. Make sure you stay tuned, and when you get the alert, catch the special announcement from the Saturday Night WrestleManiacs coming up at 9:20. Make it 9:25. So for the Midnight Rider, I'm the big guy KG. Great being back in the saddle. We will see you on Thursday. We are out of here.
Rest in peace, Dolly.